The Kenyan Supreme Court has ordered the Election Commission to allow the opposition to have access to its computer servers and electronic devices used in the counting of votes to verify certain details, such as who had used the devices and accessed the servers. Election authorities say President Uhuru Kenyatta won a second term in the August 8th poll by 1.4 million votes. A parallel tally by the independent monitors based on a sample of about 2,000 polling stations produced a similar result. African Affairs analyst David Zarembka joins us now on the News Hour to share his thoughts on the ongoing dispute in Kenya. Thank you for joining us.
You're quite welcome.
Now the court has given limited access to the IEBC's devices. Will verifying who had used the device and accessed the servers actually help determine if the votes were indeed flawed?
Yes, well, that's correct. I'm not sure that how significant this is going to be. They have to make the determination by Friday, so they only have today and tomorrow to go through all those 40,883 polling stations. So they'll probably try to pick out certain ones to see if they can find ones that have are incorrect one way or the other. The IEBC has agreed that they have made some mistakes, but not nearly enough to make up 1.4 million votes.
When Odinga claims that information recorded from individual polling centers differs from the election results used to declare Kenyatta the winner or give him victory, is there any chance of this being possible?
Oh yes, it's definitely possible, and they've covered a number of irregularities. Now, to see if they are actually valid is another thing that the judges are going to have to determine. But the polling stations were sending the information to the constituency tallying center, which then sent it on to Nairobi. And it's the difference between what was sent to the constituency center and what was sent to Nairobi is the issues that are at hand.
And accordingly, if some sheets at the constituency level lacked security features as well as the official stamp, this does validate Odinga's claim, doesn't it?
That's correct. He's claiming that lots of these forms that were sent in were not improperly, they were not signed, they were not stamped. They have different figures from what they should have, and it's not clear if how accurate this is and how pervasive was it. I mean, is it something that happened a few times here and there, or is it something that happened quite frequently, in which case the election would be not considered valid?
Well, Odinga claims that a statistical formula, that phrase, was used to rig the election in favor of Kenyatta. Can you help us understand what it means by statistical formula?
Well, what he's saying is that during the whole process of announcing the votes, which were done in batches, the difference between Raila and Uhuru was 11% all the time, and that if it were not programmed into the system, the amount would be going up and down. You know, it would be 10 for a while, then it'd be 11, then it might be 12, and then it might be 9. And so what he's claiming, and I think this is going to be extremely hard to prove, is that there was some formula in the tallying center in Nairobi that decided to determine the vote, and then the votes were made to equal the tally that they wanted to have. Now, I think that's a really difficult claim, and I don't know how they could possibly prove that.
Well, the court must rule in 3 days if a new presidential election will take place. So we'll have to wait for that now. David Zarembka, African Affairs analyst, many thanks for joining us.